Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
I'm Josh Chomik.
I'm Ralph Sellian.
Ralph is back at the helm.
Said his full name. Have you ever said your full name like that?
Yeah.
I don't even know your last name. What is it?
Sellian.
How do you not know his last name?
How am I supposed to? He never told me his last name. I don't know Ralph.
This is the one of the very few times I don't address myself with my middle name.
Which is what?
Ronald. So
Ralph Ronald.
I
Double R.
normally do the whole thing.
He got the Rolls Royce. Wow.
Yeah. I'm Ralph Ronald.
In high school, a kid called me Double RC.
Double RC.
Double RC.
That's tough.
Double
Yeah, I like
RC.
that.
We should. That's a cool nickname. That should be your nickname on the pod.
Double
RC.
RC. That's your new nickname. We're gonna solidify that.
Double
Right
R.
here. I was gonna say, you ever meet somebody and they tell you their name, and you don't think about it, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, cool, and you just forget, and then you get close with them. Like maybe it's someone at school or at work, and you're close enough that you're not allowed to ask anymore. You're allowed to be like, hey, what was your name? Like you just are too embarrassed. Has that ever happened to you?
All the time. I'm so bad with names, dude.
I'm with names. I'm in one ear out the other, and then it's kind of like, what?
I'm starting to get into the habit of writing. Like once I meet someone, I'm writing down the name immediately in my phone.
Wow.
Because I forget everyone's names.
No, it's true.
And it always comes back to bite me. So like, no, I'm trying to be better.
You're like
It's a New Year's resolution.
You're like Michael Scott when he's like remembering people by Baldy.
Yes,
B,
exactly.
Baldy, Brian.
Yeah, you
just
gotta
start
like it's their name and where I met them at. Like that's how you do it. Like
That's great.
Josh met him at Target.
Wow, that's
one quick fact about my name.
Yeah.
So my name is Ralph Ronald, and I did ROTC. He's called SAI, Senior Army Instructor. His name was Ronald Ralph.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What are the odds? That's kind of crazy.
Very few.
Ronald Ralph.
Double
Ralph
RC.
Ronald. Ralph Ronald is a super classic.
Yeah.
You got the double scoop
Ralph
of
Ronald.
double scoop of like 1960s swagger right there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool name, Ralph.
Well, welcome, Ralph. Ralph is filling in for Jordan, who's filling in for Jimmy, who's filling in for I don't know. We have endless fill-ins.
Jimmy's
on
in
this
Austin,
podcast.
Texas tonight, just living the dream on tour, and we miss him.
And Jordan couldn't make it. But of course, we're always happy to have Ralph. That smooth Keith Sweat voice he's got is always welcome on the podcast. But hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Well, we got a little lineup of stories today. And of course, the mailbags. You know, my dad says to me all the time, just do the mailbags. That's all anybody wants to hear. He says it to me like once a week. Just do the mailbags. That's all people want to hear.
Did you tell him, hey, Dad, call into the mailbag telling us that?
No, but he's listening to this, I'm sure. Dad, you could call into the mailbag. Leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, you got to call into the mailbag, so Boo-Boo, and just, express your opinion there.
He's always saying, that's what the people want,
Dude,
the mailbag.
My mom is always giving me suggestions. I'm like, Mom, call into the mailbag.
What is your mom's suggestions like?
Just so many little different things. But I'm like, if you have an idea, call into the mailbag. She's like, I don't want to call into the mailbag. I'm like, well, I don't think it's going to go, your idea is going to come across until you call into the mailbag. That's my deal I make with everyone.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a good point.
Because I love the mailbag. I love when people call, especially when it's people we know calling in, which is rare. Like, I think it's really special.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is fun when people call in. And I get it. It livens up the podcast. That's why my dad likes it. And we will do some mailbags. But before we do any of that, let's do a little weekend recap.
Love it.
And then we have a special segment this week that's a first-timer in podcast interview on a topic.
Quick little interview.
Of pressing news. So we'll talk
In
about
person.
that in person right here in studio. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do any of that, gentlemen, how was your weekend?
We were together at the Wild Card Casino night at the Mall at Shore Hills for the Turtleback Zoo.
Dude,
Josh, how was that?
It was excellent.
We had a blast.
I want to start by saying I double dipped Turtleback Zoo this weekend because Saturday morning I went. I went to, heavy recommendation, Live Bread's Millburn.
Okay.
It's in the Short Hills Mall. I always want to say the Short Hills Mall. I'm just going to say it because why not? Live Bread is there's a booth in the Short Hills Mall, but if you go to Live Bread in Millburn.
Is it in Italy or it's like outside of Italy?
No, it's like its own little booth.
Okay.
Live Bread in Millburn. Holy guacamole. They've got some breakfast that would change your life. Like they've got like the best Danishes. It's like a bakery. But then they've got coffee, good coffee. So we met up with some friends at Live Bread.
Oh, they're a chain. They have multiple locations?
Well, they're becoming a chain. They started in Millburn, and the guy, he's like, I think he's a French guy that came to America and just bakes.
Nice.
And it's just blowing up.
What was your order of the morning?
I got a cinnamon bun, maybe is the proper name.
Love cinnamon buns.
And then when you get your coffee, they give you a little cookie with it. And
Nice.
the cookie is like out of this world. So we did live breads, and then we went to the zoo. And the zoo was excellent. Turtleback Zoo is so much fun. And then that night we hung out at the mall. The mall was great. Josh and I had a lot of fun hanging out.
They brought some animals to the mall. Like there was a dog there. There was a sloth, a turtle, snake, and then Josh was like walking up to all the animals, being like, "I saw you this morning."
It was funny.
He was so excited.
They had a skunk in a box. Which
The
was
poor
pretty cool.
skunk. I didn't know they deskunked skunks.
Yeah.
I learned that at the casino night. Yeah. I was like, why isn't this guy not like trying to shoot us? And they're like, oh, he's deskunked.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was like a politically correct thing to do to an animal, but I
Well,
guess it is.
I'm sure, now that you brought it up, I'm sure it's not politically correct. I'm sure there are people deeply triggered by
Well,
the
people are
act.
triggered by zoos in general.
Yeah.
Like we've seen that in the comments of our videos, but like you're not going to please everyone. I just didn't know, like with the skunks, I thought that was like a thing, like a natural thing. I didn't know you could deskunk a skunk.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, I guess anything. We live in a world, we're living in the future.
Yeah,
some
I
would
guess you
say.
could do anything to anyone
do anything
or
to
to
anyone.
anything.
Science.
I mean, there's probably half human, half skunk breeds.
I don't want to ever imagine that. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that's illegal, by the way. This podcast,
What,
we're not
half-
talking about
half
New Jersey
human,
anymore.
half skunk?
No, there's a guy. There's people that make new breeds of animals. Like there was a guy, I think, in Montana, and he was making this new form of a goat so he could hunt. So he was genetically modifying goats. I should look this up.
Wait, what did he combine? What kind of animals?
You know, let me look it up right now. I found it. So this man, Arthur Jack Schubarth, 81 years old. He's a rancher in Montana. He was sentenced in September 2024 to 6 months in federal prison for illegally cloning and breeding hybrid sheep intended for trophy hunting. So I guess he didn't make a new breed,
He was cloning.
but he was cloning sheep. Yeah, you can clone sheep.
But like, how did it help with trophy hunting?
Because he wouldn't have to go get a permit from the state to go hunt a sheep. He would just make a new one.
Oh, he would just make his own sheep
He
and
would
just
just
hunt them?
clone the same sheep,
Sickening.
clone the same sheep over and over again and keep killing it. For trophy
Sounds like
hunting.
from a movie.
So he sent genetic material to a lab to create cloned embryos, which were implanted into ewes on his ranch, resulting in pure genetic male Marco Polo sheep named Montana Mountain King. So he then used the MMK. Okay, we're not going to get into the details of the biology.
6 months of prison time just 6 months.
81 years old. I think if you're 81,
He's going to be right back out doing the same thing.
Listen, if you're
He's
81,
you know, at 81, he's not stopping.
if I find out an 81-year-old man's doing that, I'm going to say, listen, sir, come on. Go play some bingo. We don't need you cloning the embryos of sheep.
I mean, I guess it's a cool hobby. Like it's no one else is doing
Yeah,
it. You're
no-
cloning.
nobody
That's pretty
else.
cool.
One of one.
Okay, maybe clone the sheep and don't hunt them. Is that legal? Can you just clone sheep? Is that allowed? Or is like the hunting part that like has got him in trouble?
So the part that got him in trouble is he illegally imported genetic material from Marco Polo sheep, a protected species native to Central Asia, known for their large, long, and curled horns. So think about how gangster this is.
That's
Rather than
crazy.
him going, hey, listen, I'm 81, I'm retired, I'm going to fly to Central Asia to try to hunt this sheep or whatever it is. He goes, I'm just going to clone it and hunt it here.
So he doesn't
That's
have to
like
get
me-
up. He doesn't have to put the extra work in. You know, just wake up
So
and
how
you
do-
got your new sheep right outside.
How do you even get the DNA? Do you like put a syringe in and then like draw blood?
Lots
Dude,
of science,
he's probably
Ralph.
on the dark web, probably. But can you imagine me being like, I really want to hunt an elephant, but I'm not flying to Africa. Let me just clone an elephant here in
Yeah,
my
dude,
backyard. Like, that's
what?
kind of what he
Synthetic
did.
material.
Crazy.
How do you even clone an animal?
How did we get here? We were talking about the zoo. This is a bad.
You brought it
I'm
up. It's
sorry.
your. I was saying how you were saying hello to all the animals, and then we started talking about Skunk Man, and it led to this. You said there was a half man, half skunk somewhere out in the world. I don't think that actually happened.
Oh, wow.
But we had a great time
was
at
great.
the event.
Yeah.
Jordan was very good at blackjack. That's all I'm going to say. The dude was throwing down chips and doubling, tripling his money. So, but we ended up not winning anything in the end. But I guess it was for a good cause.
Well, the way it worked was it's all fake. It was funny money. But
Yeah.
you with the tickets you win, you kind of get to pick a prize, and then they're going to pick winners for the prizes. So Jordan goes. Hey, we're walking around observing all these people playing these games, and then we walk over to this long roulette table where people are, putting down chips on different squares. And we're kind of talking about how roulette works and talking to the dealer. And Jordan goes, red 36, that's the one. And he puts his chip down.
23.
Red 23? Mm-hmm. Whatever it was, yeah. And he's like, that's the one. Puts his chip down. And
First spin,
Jordan goes from 1 chip to like 60 chips.
Yeah, incredible.
He made like a couple $100 in fake money.
Yeah.
And he should have backed out, but he got aggressive and he kept going, which is that's the
No,
way it
but then
goes.
later on, on blackjack, he went all in, and then the dealer, after he won, the dealer's like, "Oh, the max bet's 300." He put like 400. He didn't even know how much he threw in. He's like, "Oh shoot!"
That's hilarious. The funniest part
And
about
he doesn't ever play these games. Like he just has the luck on his side, I guess.
the funniest part about the Red 23 thing was I walked over later and said, "What square do you think would win right now, Jordan?" He goes, "Red 23."
Yeah, it did.
And I said, "What's the probability of the same number happening again?" And he said, "It's like any other number, I guess." And then wouldn't you believe it? Red 23 again.
But then that led me to having my conversation with the dealer, because this wasn't a real casino. So I was like, all right, maybe we can get something out of the dealers here. I was like, okay, so we're hitting all these numbers. He hit 23 after he said it. What's up with this wave that all these, like, I know in the casino, there's a rumor that the dealers can spin the ball to land perfectly on a number.
Is that a rumor?
Everyone says that, there's a way that dealers know how to spin it perfectly so it hits a number, so it helps the people playing. And then I got into this long, conversation with one of the dealers there. He was like, that's full of crap. Like, I'd be a rich man if that was true.
He folded pretty quickly into saying if he would literally commit a crime if he could cheat.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy, I mean, I don't know a lot about the way casinos operate, but it sounded like he was willing to go get a job.
I don't know, but also it sounds like, he's not working at an actual casino, so maybe he doesn't know a thing or two, or maybe he does know a thing or two. He's not allowed to be working at a casino.
When you do it every day, I think you start to learn the tricks of the trade.
That's what I told him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, there's no way. I don't know. He was pretty adamant with his answer, so maybe he was trying to hide something from me. I don't know.
Well, regardless, it was a fun night for a really good cause, and we got to see some animals and raise money for the zoo. And
we met some listeners there too.
Yeah, we met some listeners.
It was really cool.
And just had a fun night hanging out with the awesome staff. The zookeepers were all there, and it was just a lot of fun to meet.
It was kind of a
people.
trip being in the mall.
Yeah, they did give me one tip. They said if you ever go to the Turtleback Zoo, wear a blue shirt.
Yes,
because the zookeepers wear blue shirts, and the animals will run to you.
I never knew that.
So I'm gonna try it out.
Like
next
navy
weekend.
blue, or
it's like the color of that recycling trash can right there. That color blue.
recycle blue.
Recycle blue. Yeah, that might be that color.
I'm gonna do that next time I go to the zoo.
It's more of like an electric, oceany, I don't know, sort of blue. But Ralph, weekend recap before we get into the episode.
Okay, so I went to Florida. I went to Orlando and Tampa. But while I was in Tampa, I went to watch the Yankees play their spring training.
Oh, so lucky.
Yeah, they play at Steinbrenner Field, literally right next to the airport, between the airport and where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. Exhilarating experience, something I've never ever felt before.
I've always wanted to go to spring training.
But here's the thing. When Cody Bellinger was a rookie, he was my favorite MLB player that season. And I watched him hit a home run in the first inning.
You were at that game?
Yeah, I was at that game.
That was his first of spring training.
Yeah, first spring training. Him and Austin Wells hit one second pitch of the game.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, it was so and not Spencer Jones. One of the other prospects hit a home run too.
Nice, dude.
It was just.
Were you there in Florida just for fun, or you had plans to go to the spring training game?
Orlando, my friend had a baby shower, and that's like my little brother, so I went to go support him in that. But my cousin lives in Tampa, 2 hours away. I just rented a car. And I went down there.
Nice.
Rented an Audi A6.
That's the way to do it, man.
Rented an Audi A6. I'm a Toyota guy, but that's all I'm gonna say.
The Germans make nice
Hey,
cars.
you're out of state. You're allowed.
Yeah, I'm allowed to.
No one's gonna check up on you.
Glad you made it back to Jersey though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we can't have you turning into a Florida man.
No.
Although I could see you making that job.
Oh, Tampa? Oh,
If Toyota offered you, it's a little special deal with
I
you.
wouldn't, because here's the thing: they have a distributor in Tampa that takes cars from the factory and builds them, makes them special sport models. I'd go work down there.
Okay, we'll put in a good word with Mr. Toyota.
You could be our Florida rep for the pod.
I love it. Well, guys, I'm glad everybody had a good weekend. Glad Ralph is back safe with us. Hey, before we do anything else, I mentioned we're gonna have a special segment right here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Something different.
Really different.
So, Josh, let's get into it. So, one of the stories we want to talk about this week is the looming New Jersey Transit strike that seems to be maybe coming to New Jersey. There's a lot of talk of it. And we want to do something a little different this week and bring in a local legend, a local personality, friend of the podcast, Joe Colangelo, founder of Boxcar. We've talked about Boxcar before, right, Josh?
Yep.
Boxcar is a luxury busing service, commuter service to New York from New Jersey. Is that a good way to describe it, would you say?
You could write my ads.
Awesome. Excellent. I could read them too, hopefully. So Joe came in. We wanted to just kind of chat about what's coming up, what's upcoming, get an expert's opinion. Because a lot of times on this podcast, one time a friend said to me, they were like, "You're kind of bro news." And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the gist. Is like we're bros hanging out talking about the news. But sometimes it's good to get an expert to come in. So Joe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for coming in, Joe.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
I can bro out a little bit. I'll do my best.
Joe is a bro, yeah. So Joe, I got a text from a friend this week, and he said, "What's happening with the strike?" And I said, "I'm going to look into it. I'm going to find out." So give us a high level overview of what is actually this whole commotion is. What's it about? It's about contracts and labor, correct?
Yep. So there are 15 unions in NJ Transit. They've got 15 unions, right? They've got their cleaners, the bus drivers, and this one particular union is the engineers. These are the guys who drive trains, right? So these engineers have been without a contract since 2020. In August of 2023, they said, we're going to vote to strike. Now, it seems like a little while ago. That's 18 months ago, right? And they voted, and unanimously they said, we're going on strike, August 31st, 2023. This opened the window. All rail legislation and rules are super old because in the 1920s, there were all these problems with labor and trains and all these rules went into place. So the president can step in and say, nope, you're not going to go on strike. You're just not allowed to strike. So delays it 6 months. And the president can do that 3 times. And he's done that 3 times.
Wow.
So we are now 18 months later than the day they said we are walking out tomorrow and going on strike. The federal government has intervened, and the actual date is March 22nd, 2025.
Wow. So I read the union is looking for like is it a 13% increase in wages? Is that correct?
So the union wants a 14% pay bump.
And and I guess they're coming back at them saying 4% is the best we can do.
4%.
Okay.
That's right.
So there's a big gap there. This reminds me a little bit of what we just went through with the
port strike.
Yeah, the port strike, where it seemed there was a huge divide. And there's a part of me that wonders, we always hear the rumblings, and I think that is it's the same thing as what we hear about tariffs right now, right? It's a game of chicken, right? Both sides are kind of pushing. What's the likelihood that we see New Jersey Transit shut down for a day? Do you think is there any possibility that we're going to see a day where the engineers aren't aren't going to show up to their...
Yeah, so right now you can bet on this online.
Oh boy.
Kalshi.com has an NJ Transit strike contract, and it is trading at 43% as of right now.
Wow. Oh boy.
That's
and if we know
hilarious.
anything about the betting market since the election, it seems the betting market's more accurate than anything, it seems, with this kind of stuff.
At least there's a way to handicap it. You can look at it right now, and you can see it was at 48% yesterday. It's at 43% today. It was at 37% 2 days ago. So it's hovering right there. If I were to personally handicap it, I would say if there is a strike, it'll be a day, 2 days, something like that.
And
But still 2 days. That's mayhem right there. People are going to start freaking out.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's Friday midnight
so not
when they go on strike.
As bad.
So if they really want to go, push, okay, they walk out, but it's a Saturday.
Interesting. Oh, can you imagine if they did that on Monday?
Why wouldn't they do it on a Monday if they want to make a statement?
Well, it's probably when the contract's up. They probably, I'd imagine, right? That's when it would be.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I'd love to know more about why it's specifically Friday, because you think if they did this on a Tuesday morning, everybody would very quickly be paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, all the commuters in New Jersey. So I know, Joe, you guys at Boxcar are offering, you built a website. We should talk about that for a second, which is strikeclock.com.
Strikeclock.com. So strikeplan.com was $3,000. So we went with strikeclock.com.
Which is a good URL, by the way.
It's fine.
That's hilarious.
So strikeclock.com, it does have, down to the millisecond countdown of how many minutes until the strike might occur. It also has an ability for you to essentially put in a vote for us to run emergency service. So Boxcar is not a huge company. We do about 100 bus runs a day. We can't go out and help 150,000 stranded commuters, but we can help maybe another 1,000 or 2,000 commuters. And so we have limited resources to surge like that, but we want to help, we want to grow, and we also have to figure out how to allocate them. So strikeclock.com, you go in, you say, I want more service in Summit, New Jersey, and you verify your email, and boom, you're in. What we're also going to be doing is trying to help people with their plans. So for all those places that we can't help, we want to get people, by the way, you can park here and take this bus route. NJ Transit buses should still be running. You can park here, take the ferry, Here's where you work. We think that you should try this other form of commuting. If you have to go to work, if you can't say I'm working from home because of the strike.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking at it. It's kind of mesmerizing looking at the clock. We have
Who's on top of the leaderboard right now?
Bernardsville, of course, because they're way out. They're like, come on. I'm sure. Do you get all those Western towns like way out asking for more bus service?
Yeah, we have 37 people. I checked recently. We have 37 people every week who ride us now. They drive all the way to Berkeley Heights from Bernardsville.
Wow, that's crazy.
So Berkeley Heights is the closest.
It's the closest,
or the furthest right now.
Yeah, furthest west.
So they were like,
Wow.
they're like, wow, just what we've been waiting for, a form to voice our need for a bus. So 16 days, 3 hours until the strike. How do you, nobody has a crystal ball, but how do you foresee this playing out? If you had to guess, what do you think's what concessions will be made? And do you have any kind of info on that or any insights?
Yeah, so 2016 was the last time when there was a strike, and it got to the point where NJ Transit said, we are running emergency bus service from these 5 park and rides throughout New Jersey. And towns were actually contracting with bus companies to run their own service.
Wow.
It was wild to think about, like a town doing this. Madison, New Jersey printed paper tickets, and they were like ready to they were selling them at town hall that you could go in and buy. When we came to them in 2017, they were like, "Oh, we wish we had you a year ago because we got into the bus business accidentally."
Wow.
And so that strike was averted in 2016 with 11 hours to go. So I expect something not too dissimilar. Now, from what I hear, and I do talk to people, they are looking at solving this potentially in the next week or two.
Okay.
So before the 11th hour.
So those odds, 43%. So, I'm going
to be checking that daily now.
I want to ask a question. I'm not going to ask it. We'll just move on from the odds question because I know Joe has.
Oh, and I just noticed the odds are on the website.
Yeah, they're right on the website. 43%.
Yeah, I'm checking the strike clock all the time. Man. I'm short the strike. That was your question.
Yeah.
Are you betting?
Yeah.
I am betting no strike.
Okay.
And if there is a strike, we have tons more customers. Everything goes well.
Yeah, because I was going to say for you, it could be advantageous if there's people that need a bus, but obviously you can't service everybody. So it'd be kind of a catastrophe if we had 100. How many people? 150,000.
150,000.
So that'd be no good.
Well, everybody would have a bad boxcar experience. They would say, "Oh, boxcar takes 2 hours to get to the city."
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, that's
because there would be so much traffic on the road. So I'm not really rooting for one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask broader scale because I think everything you've just said makes sense. I think you're right. I'm hopeful that this is going to be resolved before we even get there. And if it does happen, I see your perspective on maybe it lasts a day. I could see that happening and it's a Saturday and who cares, right? But what I wanted to dive into deeper a bit more of is just New Jersey Transit more generally. I said a few weeks ago, I vowed I'm done being critical of New Jersey Transit. And the reason is criticism is very easy. I think we all know this, right? It's easy to be the person that points out what's wrong with something. It's very, very hard to come up with the solution, especially for something like New Jersey Transit. And we talk about this all the time, right? We're like, how do you fix NJ Transit, right? Because it feels like, our governor campaigned on fixing New Jersey Transit, and he's closing out his gubernatorial run. Not run, I guess his
life is on the line.
Yeah, and it's like he said he was going to fix it, and nothing's fixed. So, what do you see as being the real challenge with fixing NJ Transit? You seem like you really study this stuff, and your business coincides with it. So I was curious.
Yeah, so it boils down to incentives. Now, you've got a bunch of great people working at NJ Transit doing their best, but they are incentivized. When you look at where their money comes from, it is now about 75% coming from the government, right?
Oh, wow.
So if they were to double their revenues, double their fares, well, it doesn't actually move the needle a great deal. So at the end of the day, we, Boxcar, we have to sell tickets. If we are not providing a good service, we are not going to sell tickets. And if NJ Transit sees their ticket revenue fall by 30% because people leave, they stop commuting, they take other methods, it's actually not going to hurt their bottom line very much.
Yeah.
So when you look at the broad scope of things, how do you fix NJ Transit? Well, you take every station west of a certain area where the ridership is 30 a day, and you kill service. And you take those trains and you run them more frequently, and suddenly people say, well, instead of 40 minutes between a train, I've got 20 minutes. It becomes instantly more attractive.
Yeah.
You take all the bus lines that carry 10 people a day. Done. They're gone. All that operating cost is gone. You take them and you allocate them to other places, or you get rid of them entirely. Now, why will that never happen? Right? So it's not hard to come up with well, how would you fix NJ Transit? I would raise fares 25%. I would make sure that service is commensurate with that fare increase, but you can't do it because the constituent is not the customer. The constituent is the government stakeholder, and the government stakeholder says, no way, I just got a call from Suzanne that her bus got canceled. Put it back in, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I guess you're saying the free market's the solution, which I mean, it totally makes sense, right? Like that there should just be like what you guys are doing. You made a great point earlier. If people, the first time they ride with Boxcar is during a strike, they might have a bad experience and go, I'm not going to spend my money there again, right? But if the first time they ride is, well, my first experience was I was on like a Mercedes-Benz bus. I don't know what kind of a bus it was, but it was like beautiful.
It was Mercedes.
Yeah, it was like leather seats and Wi-Fi, and it was really nice. I'm going to be like, I'm going to do that again. That was awesome.
And it's not necessarily just the free market. Like the Port Authority is not a free market entity, but the Port Authority has it self-funds. And so the government says, like, you're in charge. Like, you have access to the roads, you have access to the airports, the Port Authority, the PATH train. That's all under one umbrella. And so, but like, we're not going to give you any money, but you have access to monetize these assets. So NJ Transit, if the government said, hey, we're not going to give you any money, or we're going to give you this glide slope to, getting self-funding, well, they would be, building, they'd be taking the Cranford parking lot that they own and turning it into 500 units, right? I'm not advocating for that as a Cranford resident here, but like that's the things that you would see if the government said, we are going to continue to treat you as a semi-private, semi-public entity.
Yeah.
They would find a lot of ways to make money. And I'm not advocating for it, but it's not pure free market solution.
So you're saying my dream of seeing high-speed rails going 150 miles an hour in New Jersey may never happen. Cranford to New York in 9 minutes is never going to happen, right?
Probably not.
Not in our lifetimes. Man, I was hoping he was going to come in and say there's an easy way to make that happen.
They did come out with some good news today about the windows. You saw that?
What are they doing with the windows?
The plan to replace all the windows went from 6 years to now 3 years.
See, Joe, okay, I
So
know
we're going to have clear windows in 3 years.
I know we're reaching our marker of time that we said we were going to sit at.
It's fine.
But Joe, what's the deal? I mean, like we talked a few months ago about the new tunnel they're building, right? And I made a critique of the fact that they said it was going to take like 6 years and however many $1 billion. And if you compare that to 100 years ago when we were building the Lincoln Tunnel or the Empire State Building, these projects were taking a year and people were dying. Of course, that's always the retort. People died, but it's like they didn't have, Ralph is laughing at me. They didn't have hydraulic arms on their machines. They didn't have, a lot of these photos of like the Lincoln Tunnel, there were like horses and wagons, right? Like it's like crazy. What's the deal? It's just the bureaucratic waste of the whole way the system works. What do you think? Because I mean, it's all connected in a way.
Yeah, it comes down to the government is willing to spend other people's money inefficiently, right?
Yeah.
So the North Hudson tunnels were built privately by the Pennsylvania Railroad. Those are the train tunnels that we use today.
Gotcha.
Penn Station was built with private money. All of these things. And they had to spend their money wisely. They had to switch to a new contractor if the contractor wasn't delivering.
So those tunnels were privately held when they were first built. Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've got 2 hours, we can get into the demise of private railroads. We can get into why it takes longer to get from Cranford to New York today than it did in 1968 on a train.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
Well, we should do a whole transit special and get into it because I think this stuff's interesting. But no, Joe, thank you so much for joining us. If people want to find, obviously, if they want to find your stuff, strikeclock.com, but anywhere else they could look for Boxcar on social media.
Yeah, boxcar.com. You're going to see a nice picture of Anthony Volpe in a Boxcar jersey. We always say the best way to go from New Jersey to New York is to get drafted by the Yankees, and the second best way is Boxcar.
Awesome.
But yeah, we're just going to be giving a lot of information on our Instagram, Boxcar Transit. Anybody who signs up for Strike Clock, just because we are getting into the minutia of this. Commuters are so busy, right? They've got families, they've got work, and commuting should just be something that they don't have to worry about. They shouldn't have to be researching what's going to happen in the next 15 days or what's going to happen to the trains next month. So that's like we're doing that job for them and just digging into a lot of informational stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate it. And I'm a Boxcar rider. I've been an NJ Transit rider. I've tried everything, and I appreciate what you're doing. I am believing that we're going to see a future with 150 mile per hour Boxcar rail. You guys got to figure out, buy the Amtrak rail, make it happen, Joe.
Easy.
Thank you, brother.
eVTOL. All right, we're going to lift you up and drop you right
Just
off
launch
your
the
office.
But thank you for coming by, man. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Joe's the man.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we can interview people here. It's a nice sort of touch, and we should do it more often.
Yeah, man.
Bring an expert in, someone that knows something.
Yeah, like the zoo director. Remember we talked her ear off. I met the zoo director at the Turtleback Zoo. I was like, why can't you bring koalas in? You ever just wake up wanting to bring an elephant? And like, I was kind of blowing her mind with all these questions. She was like, who's this crazy kid?
She was probably like a little worried about you.
Yeah, just a little bit, but she was a good person.
I asked them some questions that I think I worried them as well. I asked them all the questions I ever wondered. The one question I was curious about is, do you ever have issues with people breaking in the zoo at night?
Oh, I didn't hear that. What did she say?
She said, no, not really. I didn't ask the director. I asked our other friend that worked there. She was, nah, not really a big concern. But I was saying, like, that zoo is in a local town. It's in South Orange.
Yeah.
Or West Orange.
Those walls are pretty big.
West Orange.
And if I was when I was in high school, we had senior pranks. I could see West Orange High having a senior prank where they like, someone goes and tries to ride the ostrich at the zoo.
Imagine.
Like, can you, that just makes sense to me.
There's got to only be like 2 security guards walking the premises, right?
Could they even have a security guard?
They have to. There at least has to be one.
I'm sure the animals get locked up.
Yeah, but I feel like there's also animal keepers who have to stay overnight sometimes to watch the animals.
What about like a little night at the museum?
I should have asked that
situation?
question.
Night at the museum where like
We should,
the
Ralph.
animals.
We should ask if we can go camp Turtleback Zoo.
Where would you camp?
I love camping.
I want to go in the giraffe pen.
They would stomp you.
No, they go inside at night. But I want to go sleep in the giraffe
In the
pen.
pen.
We'll
That's
see.
kind of scary.
So, yeah, but
Until
back
they
to
learn to
Joe.
open the doors.
Back to Joe.
Yeah, Joe's great.
Great to have an expert come by that knows a little something about something. And we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on New Jersey Transit. If you are commuting with NJ Transit, hold on for dear life. And if things go sideways, reach out to Boxcar.
Yeah, they're good people.
All right, you want to go on to some more news?
Let's get into the mailbag.
The mailbag, shall we?
If you want to call into the mailbag, you know the number. The number is
908 67 99 99 3.
What up, guys? It's your boy Rick from Brick. First off, I want to say congrats on Silbo for baby girl number 2 on the way.
Whoa.
Thank you.
And, well, I got a story here for you that I'm reading on my phone. I know we talked about a while ago with the gas-powered leaf blowers being banned, but now I'm reading there's a new bill introduced to the New Jersey legislature that aims to phase out all gas-powered lawn equipment statewide, which includes, mowers too, and prohibiting its sale within 3 years and its use within 5. But the part I'm reading here that doesn't make any sense is the bill doesn't just seek to make it illegal to buy gas-powered lawn equipment, it also tends to criminalize any actual use of gas-powered lawn tools within 5 years, which I find is absolutely insane because I, as a homeowner, I got a gas-powered blower. I'm a gas-powered mower and a snow blower and a leaf blower. And all I can say is my gas stuff versus electric stuff lasts way longer on a single tank of gas versus the charge. And I'll be damned if the state makes me go electric. If they want me to go electric, they can buy it for me. If not, I'm going to keep using all my gas stuff. And
way to go, Rick.
Yeah, that's all I got for you this week. Peace out.
That's a great.
Thank you, Rick.
Well, first off, thanks, Rick, on the comment on my baby.
Okay, yeah. Did you announce on the pod last week when I was gone that you had a baby, or
I don't even remember, but my wife is pregnant. Yes, with her second baby.
I've been waiting for you to tell the
So,
podcast. Congrats.
We're working through that.
When's the due date?
July 24th. So we're almost at the half. We're past the halfway mark now.
Crazy.
So it's coming quick. But on the point about gas powered lawn equipment, a few things here. I think first off, I can't see this ever.
This
happening.
would never happen.
And then also, how are landscapers going to get any work done?
Yeah,
this is classic.
You can't make them all go electric. There's no shot. There's too many.
Okay. Glad I'm here today.
Yeah.
Here's a problem with having gas as opposed to, or the problem having electric rather than gas. When you have electric, you have to charge it. And what are you going to charge it with?
Electricity.
No, a gas generator, diesel generator.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So you're going to be doing the same damage regardless because the truck can't charge.
Well, that's
your
not a good
battery and stuff.
argument. You're just going to charge it before you get to the site.
Yeah, but then when you use it, okay, let's say you have 3 houses to do that day.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
charging
Just on the road.
if it's charging in your trailer, you're going to be using a generator.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't. Nothing adds up with this whole entire
And
thing.
even if you're going to get even if you're not using a generator, you're going to be using the truck's alternator, which is still going to use gas or diesel, depending on whatever application you're using. But
what if the truck's an electric vehicle?
it's regardless. the efficiency goes down a lot.
I don't know, where did this idea come from that electricity is just like floating in space and you can just kind of grab
so
onto it.
easy.
Like electricity
People don't know
comes
that.
from from natural resources. It's not just like something.
Yeah.
It's not like Ben Franklin with the kite where we're capturing lightning and you can just use it. Like there's a lot that goes into electricity existing. I mean, if everything was solar powered, I get it, or wind powered, but that's just not the case, and I don't think it's
No.
ever going to be the case.
People hear solar panels and go crazy.
Why?
Because they think it's just like free solar panels, like solar electricity.
Oh, yeah.
And that solar electricity is like very, very small. I'm gonna say small, like maybe like 25 to like 40% of like the efficiency of like a direct connection. So
Well, you're gonna have the solar salesman.
yeah, and
very
then,
mad.
And that, well, take that back.
No, you're good.
I think Rick could sleep easily tonight.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think this will ever happen.
But this is just a classic case of politicians that are out of touch with regular people.
Yeah.
That have landscapers cut their grass. Of course, like when was the last time Phil Murphy cut his lawn? Let's be honest. Shout out to Phil Murphy.
That'd be cool if he did.
I would love to see Phil Murphy on a zero turn. Imagine on a zero turn, stinking Cub Cadet lawnmower ripping her around.
So cool.
It'd be hilarious. But I just don't think that. I think our politicians are very idealistic and they're not realists. They're not thinking about the regular people they're going to impact. And then also, how many business owners are cutting grass and blowing snow, and it's just going to just demolish their business.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to happen. Say that here right now.
So I think we could park that there.
Yeah, Rick, you're good, man. Keep on chomping away with all those gas powered,
Lawn
equipment.
landscaping lawn equipment,
Yes,
lawn
there.
management.
Sometimes I need you
Yeah.
guys to help me finish a sentence because I just start something, I just never know where it's going to go sometimes. So thank you,
Michael
Ralph.
Scott.
You're welcome.
All right. Why don't we get into the news? I know we're pretty far.
Do one more.
All right. Mark that, Ralph.
Yep.
All right.
One second. Go ahead.
All right. Let's do one more call here, and then we'll get into some more news.
Hey, it's Jersey Jack. I called in a few weeks ago and called you guys old. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But you guys are talking about the neurovirus. Damn, that thing was crazy. At my work, I used to work over in Chatham. People were dropping like flies. They did 2 or 3 people dropping a day of this neurovirus because they just ended up yakking. I thankfully dodged it. But it's super duper contagious, and I heard it was like the worst thing they ever felt. I hope you're feeling better, and I'll call back soon. Have a great day, guys.
I love that call.
Thanks, Jack.
You like how Jack apologized? He's like, I'm sorry.
No, that was not an apology. To say, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That's like me going,
I'm sorry I got caught.
That's like one time I was at the gym and I was doing the cable row, and when I release it, the weights were hitting each other. Not hard, because I'm not obnoxious, but they were hitting. And an old man comes over to me, older gentleman, had to be like late 70s, and he goes, you could break those doing that. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, well, first I think I said something like, excuse me, because I didn't fully hear what he said. And then he goes, well, if you're not able to put him down gently, whatever, just, keep doing it. And he was kind of he was trying to say, like, if you're too weak to put it down softly.
Wow.
That's what Jack just did to it. He was like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sorry. Long-winded example. But it's all right. Jersey Jack. No relation to the Chitterelli, by the way, I don't think.
I like how he's like, people are dropping like flies. Like people are dying out here.
Yeah, this neurovirus, man, it's kicking people's butts. And
Thankfully, like no one else after I had it that I was around got it. So I'm hoping it's been like over a week now. So I'm hoping that, everyone that was near me is cleared and everyone is safe. But yeah, it was the worst. And it sucked having to be home editing the podcast, listening to you guys. I wish I was here with you, and I'm just so happy. Dude, like I had no energy for like 2 days. It's terrible.
It's the worst.
No, I didn't have the norovirus, but I caught the flu. But
That's going around too right now. I know so many people who just have a flu.
I started the symptoms on my birthday. So like I had one of the worst birthdays ever. I had a good week leading up to it, but then on the day it was just like
When's your birthday?
February 15th.
Oh.
Yeah, day after Valentine's Day. Don't forget.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
I wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah, you did.
All right, cool. All right, let's do some news, guys.
I love you.
This
Yeah,
is
of course.
I love you.
This is a different sort of podcast. The flow of today is a little different. We did an interview, did the mailbag later. What were we going to say?
Ralph, you're how old?
23.
Okay.
Jordan year.
I think we know.
Yeah, of course.
23, we're adults now. After 21, the happy birthday thing, it doesn't matter anymore. It's like you're just boys with someone. You don't know anyone's birthday.
Even if I know their birthday, I find myself forgetting anyway.
There we go.
But
I forget names, I forget birthdays.
The next, if I like, oh, is it his birthday? I'll take him out to do something.
I will
not say anything.
I will say, when a grown man is like, if a grown man comes up to me, he's like, "You want to celebrate my birthday with me this weekend?"
Hey, yo.
There's judgment. I'm judging him a little bit on that.
When's the last time we did something for each other's birthday? It's been
last year on my 30th, you guys surprised me. My wife set a thing up where the boys surprised me. We hung out for a bit.
Because it was a surprise. It wasn't like you going like, guys, let's do something for my birthday.
No, and I mean like my birthday's this weekend, by the way, coming up. Do you guys want to do something for my birthday?
Nah, we're good.
So I have a wife now. So my wife will plan. Like she'll be like, "We're going to get dinner. Don't make plans on Friday. We're going to get dinner." Okay, great. That's awesome. But I don't ever hit up the crew and be like, "Boys, let's get some plans together. My birthday's this week."
When's the last time we did something for my birthday?
I can't even remember.
Exactly, because it doesn't matter.
I owe you a birthday gift though. So this year we're doing something. Because you're a good friend. Shelby always says to me, "You got to give Chomik. You're always bringing June gifts, and you're so kind."
Your friendship is my gift.
Oh yeah,
that's the difference between boys and girls.
My wife is like, yeah, you're right. That's like I would take gifts endlessly and be like, "Oh, thanks, man." Like, I just thought, honestly, my wife is like, "You're such a bad friend."
Now that you have kids, it's like, screw you. You're not getting any more. Your kids get gifts from me now. You're not getting any more gifts.
Adapt is a gift. That's all I gotta say.
A what?
Adapt is a gift.
You're just dapping each other up.
Remind me, when's June's birthday? Because it's near yours.
June's is Monday, March 10th. Yeah. And mine is Tuesday, March 11th.
Oh, so it's the day before yours. That's crazy. I remember now.
You were so close to being twins.
It would have been really cool, but we're going to share a birthday party on Sunday.
Nice.
So I will get a birthday party in case anyone's wondering. But hey, let's talk news because this podcast is going a little overtime, I think, over the rails. The state of New Jersey is launching Real ID Thursdays as the May 7th deadline quickly approaches.
We've been talking about Real ID for like 4 years now.
Like, do you have a real?
Yes, I got mine. You didn't get yours yet? And this is why everyone's scrambling now to make an appointment because they waited till last second. You guys had 4 years.
I'm going to ask Governor Phil Murphy.
Mine's probably almost expired by now.
I'm going to ask Governor Phil Murphy if he could just fast pass me.
I mean, you don't really need it. Just if you want to fly domestically, just carry your passport. That's the only thing you need Real ID for.
Oh, really? Is that what it's for?
Yes. It looks like a lot of people need information about this.
Dude.
What did you think it was?
I thought I had a whole conspiracy about this.
No, the only thing is, it's like if I'm flying within the states now, I need to have a Real ID or else carry my passport on me. That's the deal.
So the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission announced Real ID Thursdays, where thousands of Real ID and license renewal appointments will be added for one day of the week at licensing centers across the state. So if you've been putting this off, Thursday is going to be your day. They're adding appointments. Make it happen. Okay. So Real ID Thursdays will start March 20th with nearly 4,500 new appointments for obtaining a Real ID available on Thursdays at Motor Vehicle Commission locations. Why Thursdays?
That's going to be a wreck.
I don't know. The addition of appointments comes as a response to the increased demand for Real IDs in New Jersey. Starting on May 7th, the federal government requires residents to obtain a Real ID if they use their license as identification when flying. I'm going to just pause for a second here. This seems so dramatic.
I wonder, I don't know what caused them to, do this, but
everybody, okay, hold on. So there's a big hot topic in America about voter ID, right? Like we can't do voter ID because it's like not everybody can get ID. But you're saying we all have to get a brand new ID on top of our driver's license if we want to fly domestically?
What is your driver's license?
I know, but you were saying like if you want to just use your driver's license.
Yeah, like we normally do now, yeah. You have to have the star on it.
If you want to fly.
Yeah.
So what's the motivation here for the federal government? They would say ID? Yeah, they would say it's safety.
So the thing is, because it does ask for more proof of like identification. So like you have that 6 points plus like 2 other forms of ID.
Yeah, I think. Well, so the article does actually get into that, Ralph.
Okay.
So the combination is a 2 + 1 + 6 equals real ID is what it says.
Yeah.
So,
But here's the thing. I brought extra information and they literally just took 6 points and then like forged them together. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know if this lady did me a favor or whatever, but
Whoa.
it was like, and I did a next day appointment in Cape May. So I drove like
You drove
Oh,
to
you
Cape
drove
May?
to Cape May.
Yeah.
That's how crazy
by
it is.
myself next day to get it done because I wanted it as fast as possible because I was traveling in the next 2 weeks. And I thought it was the 2023 date they originally said, but then they moved it to this year.
congratulations. You
Thank
played
you.
yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Man, that's crazy. So you went all the way down to the Cape
Oh,
Cape May
trust me,
Courthouse.
I enjoyed
I hope
it.
you made a day out of it. Like, I hope you enjoyed Cape May a little bit while you went there. Like, there's a lot to see.
I did a few hours.
You might as well.
I've gone to Cape May a few times when I was young, so I kind of know the area. So, yeah.
So the point of this article, though, is they're going to add new appointment availability on Thursday. So if you haven't gotten a real ID yet, here's your opportunity. Go on a Thursday specifically.
After March 20th.
After March 20th. So residents can book the added appointments for Real ID Thursdays beginning on March 14th. So that'll be coming up next week. You can use the NJMVC website. We should have gotten paid for this little brand deal.
Great ad. Yeah. This is free.
This is free for the
Absolutely
state.
unreal.
But what I will say is, yeah, go get it done. My wife just did hers. She was stressed about all the points because the little flyer they give you, it's like 6 + 2 + 1. So
Yeah.
you have your passport, you have your birth certificate. You need it was a lot of points of identification.
I did mine like a year and a half ago, and I had to go to Washington Township, so like about an hour for me, just because I couldn't get an appointment near me. And this was a year ago, so I can imagine how crazy it is now.
How long was the wait between the day you booked the appointment?
I did the appointment like a month out.
Oh no!
Yeah.
See, I want to get it done the same day, so I wasted a lot more gas.
Well, yeah, I wasn't driving to Cape May. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There was an appointment available
there. It
there.
was Cape May and Salem Township.
You would think on a New Jersey podcast of this scale, we'd have a DMV connection by now, but we don't.
I don't know who has a DMV connection because that's a hard one to get.
Listen, you have somebody do inspections too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you're my inspection guy now?
I can be. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not like licensed.
I need you to get
Wait, are you? Or
licensed.
I can make sure you pass inspection by checking your car out.
Good to know, Ralph. Thanks.
All right, let's keep moving here. So get your real IDs, ladies and gentlemen. Don't drag your feet on that.
I mean, like, you don't need it though.
but there's a deadline. What happens if you way past the deadline?
That means if you're at the airport, you have to use your passport.
That's
Like
the
after the
only-
deadline, you can still get real ID. It's just like if you want to fly. I think that's why I'm a little confused why people are freaking out. It's like only if you're really flying. Other than that, like if your license, if you're a normal license, you can still use it until it expires. So it's very interesting. Like when's your license expire?
I was about to look at that. So first, my license, that's my Costco card, which went there this
which
weekend.
is like same.
Same, yeah. Mine expires 2027. But I was going to say...
So yeah, you could technically go till 2027 if you wanted to. It's not like you fly every weekend.
Sure, but I also was going to say, when you get a new passport, you got to just apply for the passport card. It's an extra $10, and you get the coolest ID ever, which is a U.S. federal ID that just looks like a fancy card.
Even easier for you. You could just use that at the airport.
Yeah, I could use this passport card.
Why are you going to get a real ID?
I don't know.
cool.
You have a passport card.
I've been wondering all this time, what is all the fuss about? And this expires January 31. I mean, I got another...
You have until 2031.
6 years on this
Yeah.
baby.
Just bring that to the airport.
Yeah.
Easy.
But I don't want to see my license say not for real ID purposes. It's like a paragraph in the corner of your license. It doesn't look cool.
On
To
like a
me.
normal license?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it said that.
Yeah, if you give the star, it just has a star. But if it doesn't...
Beautiful star. I just did it for the looks, to be honest. Like, I
me
really didn't
too.
care. I just wanted the star.
I fly a lot too, or decent amount. So, but it's nice to look at the star. You know,
right.
feel verified.
Let's keep it moving here, guys. I'm pushing you onward. In the words of Theo Vaughn, onward. We're going to keep moving here. The New Jersey Builders Association is suing 159 towns across the state to force new affordable housing construction.
Why are the builders getting involved in this?
Because they want to make
They're
some
greedy.
money.
They're greedy.
Listen, man, this whole Mount Laurel conversation, people are like, oh, it's about affordable housing. No, it's not. It's about money. There's always money in New Jersey floating around. Builders want to make their money.
Gabagool.
They want to see that new apartment. I want to build a new luxury apartment complex in Madison. Why are they not letting me do this? I really just care about the affordable housing part, not the $50 million I'm going to make on it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's going to destroy your local suburban town that's never had an apartment building in the center of it. All I care about is helping the poor and needy. Lies.
All lies.
I don't believe any of it, and I'm tired of our politicians not
Corporate greed.
There's got to be money going to our politicians on this whole housing thing. They've got to be getting kickbacks from the developers. I know it's conspiratorial, but it's the only way I can figure out why are they fighting so hard for these apartment buildings everywhere in New Jersey. Every town is being overdeveloped. I'm sick of it. This is a hill I'll die on. Okay, we have a housing crisis, sure. So we're gonna put $4,000 one-bedroom apartments in town. Who can afford them?
But here's the thing, though. I think it's enticing to a lot of like younger people, or like people that work in the city, because it's not like I don't have to pay as much as utilities if I own a house.
The prices are still ridiculous, though, Ralph.
I mean, they factor it in, but it's like kind of like a psychological effect. It kind of tricks them into it, you know.
I think it's just a very disingenuous argument.
Of course.
You can see they're suing 159 towns because 159 towns are saying, no, we're not going to be building these affordable housing units. Get out of here. And so at least like a lot of towns are stepping up and being like, no, we're not going to allow this.
People get mad when we talk about this because I don't know who to trust, but there's a lot of people that come out of the woodworks saying, well, this is the solution to housing in New Jersey.
And also with these new developments, isn't it only like 5% of it like affordable housing?
Yeah, that's
isn't it like a small, the whole point tiny percentage?
It's the affordable housing banner is not for the whole building. This is just for a small portion of it and a way for them to get another 200 units in.
And like, yeah, you got to get into the lottery system, and it's like super hard to get picked.
It's such a game, and it's
all political. It's all about the money.
Look, people always want to make these structured, beautiful arguments. To me, let's just pause and look at it from a common sense perspective. You're destroying little towns.
Yeah.
Why are you going to build
up? It's ridiculous.
Why are you going to? Union County's over. No offense if you live in Union County. Drive through Union County on any given Tuesday.
Drive through North Ave, man. It's
go
so
up
bad.
North Ave. Go through Bergen County. We were shot out. We're going to need to use flying cars soon because the traffic is ridiculous. And the towns don't stick up for anybody. I think because their hands are tied with the whole Mount Laurel thing. So it just makes it very complicated. But I will read the article where I'm ranting, and I haven't ranted in a while. I've been trying to be a good boy.
How did that feel? You got it off your system?
Felt good.
I think you need that from time to time. You're loud.
It says 1 in 4 New Jersey towns are facing legal action from the largest group of builders and developers in the state over affordable housing obligations. The New Jersey Builders Association is filing 159 complaints, each one against a separate municipality. Jeff Kolakowski, CEO of NJBA, said the towns were trying to skirt the law and ignore the affordable housing requirements handed down by the State Department of Community Affairs. Here's a quote. "We feel compelled to respond in order to preserve the nearly 14,000 low and moderate income units that these 159 municipalities would seek to simply eliminate, despite New Jersey's established and pressing need for such affordable housing opportunities. Legal filings like recent ones from the NJBA, known as builders' remedy suits, have become a staple of the decades-long battle over affordable housing in New Jersey. Many towns have pushed back on their obligations because, as local officials say, the DCA's requirements were too high and overestimated how much land they actually had for development."
Yeah, they're taking over every single town. Like Josh said, all these small towns are done.
I don't trust the Builders Association. I think this is insane. I think
they just do. They're trying to collect as much money as they can.
They just want to make more money. And I think, it's so crooked and corrupt because who does the Building Association use as their pawn? The poor. Well, you don't want the poor to have housing.
Yeah, they're trying to sound like the bigger person here.
It's ridiculous. I think there's nobody being honest in this whole argument. Everybody's just using weird, wacky arguments to try to push things on these towns. What happened to New Jersey where a local township can't, people living in a town can't determine what will happen with the town they live in? Like I grew up in Cranford. When I was growing up in Cranford, they just built a new apartment complex there. People were rioting at the town hall saying, "We don't want this. This is not what we envisioned this town to become." is that the whole point of democracy, right? Like, I know on the federal level, there's not much to be trusted because you vote for a president and these people don't often do exactly what you want them to do. But in your local township, if you live in a town with 30,000 people and the majority don't want more apartment buildings, shouldn't the people have some sort of say in this?
Yeah, so with the Cranford ones, how did that go down? Because people were still like complaining till this day. So who stepped in and was like, no, this is happening?
I think the state strong arms them. I think the state goes, well, hold on, you're short 40 affordable housing units, so we're going to put 800 new units in and 40 of them will be affordable housing. That's the way the game always goes. So they put these buildings in under the auspices of affordable housing, 14,000. So they say 14,000 affordable housing units. What's the total number of units?
Yeah, if it's 14,000, then the total number is going to be
100,000?
Yes. So it's only like 5% or something like that of each.
So you're talking about maybe what, 80, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 new apartments.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's going to take over everything.
I think it's crazy. I think the state should work with local municipalities to cut our property taxes. You want New Jersey to become more affordable. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you could do, a lot of things that aren't politically correct to talk about, that people don't want to touch on, that I don't even know if this podcast is ready to talk about. And when we get there, Josh Chomik, I'm going to bring out the numbers.
Oh, the numbers. Yeah, they're saying like on average, it's like 20% of units is for affordable housing.
Okay, so if 14,000 is 20%, multiply it times 5, that's 50, that's 70,000 units total.
Yeah.
70,000 units, ladies and gentlemen, coming to a township near you. And the state, your local representative that you keep voting for, does not care at all about your desires. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
It's an unfortunate truth.
You're all going to be sardines living in cans. Forget your little Cape Cod American dream. It ain't happening, baby. You're going to be living
all you got is the American Dream Mall. That's
all you got is
the only American dream you
Mall,
got.
And you got a little apartment you're going to live in.
Tiny little box. A tiny little box.
Man, we got to fight. We got to fight the powers that be.
I like what the mayor said.
So, yeah, Marlboro Mayor Jonathan Hornick says New Jersey's affordable housing debate should be between towns and the state. Hornick said that builders have no place at the table in deciding how many units of affordable housing are appropriate for the community. The builders don't care about the need for housing. They just want to build more on every ounce of land and with the taxpayers on the hook for the infrastructure to support it. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. So who's going to pay when you have to reroute the sewage system for the township to build a new apartment building with 100 units? You and me, baby. You and me.
Yes, and it's just so ridiculous.
Who's going to pay for the new traffic signals that need to go in for that busy intersection now?
You are.
And me.
Yeah, you and me. It's a beautiful future, Josh. You know, we just got to keep our heads up here in the state. I think, things are going to get better somehow.
Yeah, I mean, he says developers get rich and generations of taxpayers foot the bill. This is outrageous.
Hornick's
Man, we should reach out to him. We should actually reach out. I'd love to talk to him. Since we're doing interviews now, Jonathan Hornick.
The mayor of Marlboro?
Marlboro, yeah. Let's see if we could look him up real quick. I wonder if he's on social media. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to him. Let's get him on. And
yeah, it'd be good to talk to him.
And talk to him about affordable. He would be an awesome interview just about the overrun apartment issue in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I'll reach out. All right, let's keep it moving here. We got another story, and then we're going to tie it up in a beautiful bow for the listeners. Mm-hmm. A South Jersey man has been accused of filming people within the restroom at his local gym.
And when I first read this article, I thought, okay, maybe he hid some cameras in the ceiling tiles, like all these other hidden camera stories. No, this guy was putting his phone over the stalls and filming people. What are you doing?
So listen to this. A Maze Landing, New Jersey man is now in custody for allegedly using his phone to record victims in the men's restroom of a Planet Fitness. Daniel Zhang, 23, faces 15 counts of invasion of privacy. Investigators say Zhang recorded his victims by standing in the bathroom stall and reaching the cell phone up to the top of the stall barriers. Wow, that's an invasion of privacy.
Brother, imagine you're on the can and then you just look up and you have a phone. Are you grabbing that phone immediately if you see that? Or are you going to try to record it secretly and then call him out later?
I just had a thought in my head. I think
I don't know what I do.
The most honest thought that I would think literally just came into my brain, which is I would think it was somebody I knew messing with me.
Yes, right?
I think I'd be like, who is that?
Right? It's
what are you doing?
Why? Literally, this guy's trying to creep on other people, but it's so obvious. It's like, are you dumb? You got to be smart if you're going to creep.
I'd probably stand up and just kick the door really hard and pop into the person.
It's weird, man.
People are weird. So on September 16th, Hamilton Township police responded to Planet Fitness on Black Horse Pike after one victim reported Zhang for trying to record him. Joseph Hayes was there. Here's a quote. It says, "That's what I walked into. The guy trying to get his phone back from the guy who saw some pictures of himself on his phone." So I go, wow. So he scooped the phone from his hand.
Yeah.
Police say Zhang's phone, in his phone, there were 50 videos of numerous victims. They were reportedly recorded between May and September 2024.
He's been doing this for that many months? 50 videos just creeping on people in the stalls.
What I want to know
That's weird.
is...
What a weirdo.
Yeah, it's super weird. But what I want to know is, what are the charges going to be? It says police are investigating, and they say more charges are possible. So that's disgusting.
Because right now it's
disturbing.
15 counts of invasion of privacy. Can they get him for other charges?
Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Anything's possible, brother.
What the heck, though? There's a quote. It says, according to the arrest affidavit, Zhang admitted to recording one victim at least one other time. He also said that attraction is what makes him want to record them. Dude, some people are really whack.
Oh, boy.
Zhang.
Strange.
Daniel Zhang. So, yeah, dude, if you're not safe anywhere. You're at the gym, Josh. Don't have your head down on your phone. You better be looking up. You never know what's going to be on top of you.
Yeah.
Might be a cell phone just creeping right over that stall.
You never know. And that's why you got to keep your head up.
Never know.
You never got to keep looking around. You just never know what people are up to. So, Josh, that's our last story of the week. This episode was jam-packed, stacked.
Yes, I hope that we provided the listeners with the proper amount of information they need for this week in New Jersey.
Yeah, I think doing an interview, I would love to hear the feedback of the listeners. Doing an interview is a new way to kind of bring some interesting information in.
Yeah.
Get a kind of expert take. And it's not just me and you yapping.
And Ralph.
And Ralphie boy. Ralphin.
Ralphing
I'm
around.
Ralphing around.
Double RC.
Double RC.
Double RCing around.
That's his new name forever now, Double RC. I love it. But with that, thank you, everybody, for listening. As always, appreciate you. And we'll be back next Friday. If you guys want to make plans with me for my birthday, you can hit me up.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but
On the
I'm
mailbag.
busy.
Play the number again.
You can call in the mailbag and let me know.
Yeah, everyone call into the mailbag and wish Josh a very happy birthday.
Very happy birthday.
The number of the mailbag is
908 67 99 99 3.
And with that, thank you all. We'll see you next Friday. Have an amazing week.
Later.
Bye.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.